What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, come back to Real Takes. Well, it's that time, you guys. It's movie review time, and this is for the movie titled House of Gucci, of course, directed by Ridley Scott. Now, first off, I'm totally a fan of some of the work that Scott has put out, over the course of what decades for me. So to know that he was, of course, at the helm of this, I was definitely intrigued because I want to see his take on this, you know, film, based off of true events. Also, the overall cast in this definitely had me intrigued, knowing that, of course, Lady Gaga's at the helm. We have Adam Driver, we have Jeremy Irons, we have Jared Leto, Al Pacino, Salma Hayek, just to name a few. So that's what did it. And then seeing the trailer really sold me. So I was just like, okay, definitely want to go see this, and definitely want to, make my feelings known once I do get a chance to watch the film. And I can say that I was thoroughly entertained. I really did enjoy this film. So you know what? With that said, I'm just going to jump into it. It's been a good, what is it, almost 2 weeks, whatever. I really want to just go ahead and talk about it. So with this one sets up, of course, with Lady Gaga. We get introduced to her. She plays Patrizia Reggiano. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. And you kind of see her, she, works in the family business, and she's kind of just doing her thing. After a while, you see her go into like a party, and that's when she basically gets introduced or introduces herself to what looks like to be the character played by Adam Driver. I want to get the name correctly, Maurizio Gucci. Now, I love the scenes between Driver and Gaga. Their chemistry was definitely evident within this film. I like with him, he, is a law student, working to work on that. He's really has no interest, really honestly, in the Gucci brand, because definitely with the money, the clothes, just the limelight, the people they know, that's just not his thing. It's more so the other parts of the family, which is played by Al Pacino, Aldo. We have Jeremy Irons' character, which is Rodolfo, and we have Jared Leto's character, which is Paulo. And they're the ones. This is, that's their area. That's where they shine the most. He really has no desire. So knowing at first she's not aware, really she does hear his name, and eventually once she gets to know him, and she does. You get to see how they, slowly blossom into a couple. And him, very at times, his character is very kind of very conservative, just very tightly wound with the way he carries himself, and she kind of tries to loosen him up, just to have fun, this and that and other. And of course with that, you see a person who follows to kind of see him, enjoying his time with her on a date here and there. And eventually it kind of gets around, his father's not sure how he feels about, how did you meet her, this played by Jeremy Irons. He's not feeling, he's like, I'm really not really paying no mind to his dad. Like, you're out here. Of course, my mom passed away, you kind of just doing your own thing up in there, because most of them do their, the work for the family empire through either as Italy or New York. So that's pretty much, the staples of where you get to see them kind of go back and forth when they're dealing with anything pertaining to Gucci. But I like how over the course of that film, with them, Adam Driver and Gaga, you get to see them building on that relationship. Eventually, they do get married. He does ask her because his father, it was nothing to do with him if he chooses to be with her, and he chose love and being with her. The family, of course, on her side, welcomes him in to work there. He gets to, as he say, humble, not to say humble himself, but in some ways, whatever, no, I have nothing to do with all that. I work this, I'm going to law school, I'm trying to be an attorney, which he is eventually doing his stuff or whatever. And then, they kind of build. I like the scene where you see where they're getting married, and you see the one side which is mostly her family, but then you see her looking over to the side where, I think maybe one or two people were there, but other than that, the family really wasn't there. It's almost like, what really was the excuse, but it's more so the fact that the uppers, like Aldo, and Rodolfo, they weren't doing it. Paulo just seems like he just kind of goes with the flow. Now, let me get into Aldo and Pablo, played by Al Pacino and Jared Leto, being that they're considered father and son in the film. Their dynamic at times, Aldo definitely likes to talk down about his son, whatever, he's this, he's that, whatever, and all that. And Paulo doesn't feel like he gets to stretch his creative outlets at all. They don't foresee it. He does have a moment where he does showcase, some designs and some fashions to Rodolfo. And he's like, don't ever let this be seen. You don't put pastels, you don't do this, whatever, and all that. And he eventually shows him a scarf. He's like, those are the colors you want to use. Use that. Let that be your staple. Let that be your, go-to to, figure out what works. And he literally pees on the thing. It's just like the slight disrespect he gets from Rodolfo, and the straight disrespect he gives to him with the scarf. That was a very interesting scene. I really was just like, okay, he's not feeling it. He doesn't care for his dad, and he definitely didn't care for his uncle. So, needless to say, with that, over time, you do see where Patricia really wants to kind of, find her, footing within the family. And you notice that all lets me know, oh no, you really don't have, really honestly no say, her opinions, whatever. And you can see it kind of, bothers her a little bit. There's one part where you do get to see where she opens up to calling a palm reader, that she sees on TV, played by Salma Hayek. Her name is Pina in the film, and uses this woman to kind of gauge, certain probably situations or certain decisions she decides to make, where she decides she wants to interject in certain things to get, her husband to see the light, and you should do this, you should do this, whatever, you should be more involved. When he does like, no, I don't want to, whichever. And over the course of, film, whatever, he slowly does kind of find himself being involved a little bit here and there. Certain things happen, in regards to trying to get certain shares to do this and that and other, especially when he has his father eventually passes, and then kind of seeing what happens with Aldo and Paulo wanting to find his way to finally put in his niche. We get those particular shares, and maybe we can do this and that and other. And that becomes a situation where it's like a ripple effect. Certain papers were not signed, things of that nature. Over the course of the film, you see, like, of course, the designs, you see Aldo wanting them to come to New York, here's your office, whatever, and all that, opening it up for him, to have definitely had a better relationship with his father before he passed, him knowing, that they're married, he was excited about him having, a child, him having a daughter, with Patricia, and then things just escalating, from there. You see things where it seems like things are on up and up, but then there's a lot of shadiness underhand, whichever. I love the cinematography. I love the music throughout the film. And then, of course, eventually the relationship between, Mauricio and Patricia just take a, a hit, where she keeps doing things and certain things where it kind of, starts to kind of tear down a little bit of the Gucci empire, with her trying to, and sometimes she does make some, appointed moments in, and certain things that, she really should have, I really feel like Mauricio should have listened to. And you see a part in the film towards the end when, they try to revamp the actual Gucci name with the brand and all that, and bringing, I think, want to say Tom Ford, and then they want to kind of slowly kind of buy him out with his shares. And he said it straight to, I want to say, what's his name, Domenico De Sol, and he's like, when he's trying to talk to him with the other guys, and he's like, she told me not to trust you. She told me about you, and it was just like, yeah, certain little things like that. Granted, she was doing other things, but it was like not everything she was trying to do was anything to do with self-sabotage. It's just like, look at the people closest to you. I can see this, and being the Italian little side, whatever, she can, see that. And, it kind of just went down from there. But I will say, watching the way she, being so, maybe a little bit younger and wholesome, whatever, and all that, to a full shift once she got into this, family and this empire, wanting a little bit of craving, wanting this, what can belong to me? I should have a say in this, whatever. I'm a Gucci, even though you're only Gucci by name, they're blood Gucci, whatever. And I'm always kind of bringing that into her, when they're making statements, slowly, kind of cutting her down with that, that was very, interesting. You could see sometimes the look on her face, and sometimes she look at her husband like, you're not gonna speak up, like, yeah, I'm a part of the family now. We have a child together. I'm trying to help you see the potential. If you do this can, raise so much, stakes into your family, the family empire, the business, whichever. So yes, I will say overall, I just so enjoyed the film immensely. We do know, and eventually, the situation, because I did remember saying this during the trailer, how, the situation that happened with Mauricio Gucci, being, shot, killed to death, and then her having a hand in that, being that she, had, Pina find, some guys that she could trust, whatever, who can handle the job. And it's like, eventually you handled the job, but then it came back to get you, and there was no way around that. She was going down with her palm reader and their two sidekicks, who made the decision to go out here and do this dirty deed. But yes, I really did enjoy this film. The range that Lady Gaga gave in this, and definitely Adam Driver as well. I'm a fan of some of his work. Driver, he can definitely play so many different ways in so many different genres, whatever. But when it comes to that serious, drama type of tone, he definitely always nails it for me in this. And I definitely enjoyed him. But like I stated, the person that truly stands out to me is Lady Gaga, because I really did enjoy her portrayal of Patrizia Reggiani, aka Gucci. She did an amazing job in this. So with that said, my rating on this out of a 10, I'll give this an 8 with that. And that's really all I have to say about that. So you guys comment below. Let me know what you think. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next movie review. You guys take care.